Hello, everyone, and welcome to our November Hangout. I'm joined with Dr. Anthony DiMaria, and you've been watching Dr. Casey DiMaria. The two of us today are going to take over. We're going to be talking about men's health. It's going to be a lot of fun. I know that during the next 28, 29 minutes or so, if you have any questions, you can type them in, and we'll do our very best to answer them. And then we'll talk about all the other details as we go along the way. So how about I'll just start out a little bit about myself and what I do every day. I've been really fortunate. I just turned 60 years old, and probably 23 years ago, I made one of the wisest choices in my life. I decided to stop drinking alcohol, and that really impacted me. I started drinking alcohol when I was 12 years old. And that was an interesting time in my life. It's just one of those things when you were raised back in the baby boomer days. But I ran track in high school. It was kind of silly because I used to smoke cigarettes. I started smoking cigarettes when I was 15 years old. So I had a very interesting life. So I made one of my first wise decisions was to stop smoking. So I don't smoke. I don't drink soda pop. I don't drink alcohol. Started running when I was about a sophomore in high school, and I've been pretty much running ever since 1970. So that's a few years ago. And I think what also is very important to me as far as health goes, I've been married to Debbie since 1976. We have a tremendous marriage. It takes a lot of stress because stress is probably very devastating. I have two great sons, Dr. Anthony and Dominic, who is behind the scenes taking care of our branding. I have a tremendous daughter-in-law, Dr. Kaysen. So stress is really an area that I don't have to deal with. I mean, I have day-to-day stress. So if you're a gentleman out there right now watching us, my advice to you is just work on your relationships with your family. If you're a young man, you want to work with your kids. And then I just want you just to be aware, and I know that Dr. Anthony will tell you about his own chiropractic experience, is that you want to have an excellent chiropractor, and you want to be very mindful of what you eat. Debbie and I wake up every day at 4:50 in the morning. We exercise, we pray together. We're always perceptive of what we're doing. We're always working ahead. So that's pretty much in 2 minutes what I have done to help me along the way. So Dr. Anthony.
I know that one of the things that's really important, because I know the topic of discussion this month is men's health. And men particularly are probably not as more likely to follow through with something in the health realm as ladies. So it's particularly important that men are aware of what goes on in their health and well-being, because most don't have a primary care provider that they go and see on a regular basis. So for any men that are out there and you're watching this, then I congratulate you for taking those appropriate and necessary steps to learn a little bit more about what you can do to help improve your health and well-being, because for most of us, we will say that there is the Superman cape that we all believe that we still have in the closet, and then one day you wake up and realize that you never had it to begin with. So it is figuring out what you can do to be healthy along the way and really making smart decisions. So I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I am nearly 29 years old. I've been practicing chiropractic for 3 years. I have a great family practice. One of the things that I do and we'll talk about doing is eating right, moving right, thinking right, and getting regular chiropractic care really helps men and men's health go all the way around. So we're going to talk about a few topics when it comes to men's health, from cancer and heart and thyroid, but different ways that men can prevent themselves from having any particular types of challenges.
So we're going to have two special gifts when the program is over. You must type in that you're here, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on, but I'm going to get right into it because I think one of the main issues that so many people have today are male hormones. And I just had an opportunity to speak at a local business today. Dr. Anthony was at an event, and we were doing assessments to people. And men over 40 years old today are starting to have challenges with low testosterone. So just know that Dr. Anthony and Dominic, we never ate canned food when those guys were younger. And we didn't really do a lot of soy. At the beginning, back in the 1980s, we were using some soy milk, which is a little bit different than the soy today. But you want to, gentlemen, minimize your exposure to soy. And where we live here in Northern Ohio, I'm seeing more and more landscaping companies have organic lawns. So you really want to be aware what you're putting on your lawn. And I was sharing, and I share this with men anytime I speak, if you're going to golf, and I'm not saying golfing is good or bad. I personally don't golf just because I think there's better ways to improve the energy in your body and exercising. But if you're going to golf, I would rather have you golf driving the cart and being in the middle of the afternoon when there's no moisture on the ground because of estrogen. So you can do some research yourself on estrogen. Be aware of the water you're drinking. We use purified water. We eat primarily organic meat. We don't do soy because you want the least amount of estrogen in your body because estrogen sabotages male hormones. So would you like to add on to anything about that you've seen?
You know, I think when it comes to hormones too, a lot of big buzzword out there is low T or low testosterone. Now, I think in the day and age in which we live, it's really not necessarily that it's low testosterone, it's that it's an abundance of estrogen. And really, just like females, estrogen is something that needs to be balanced in a male's body, just like it is in a female. So in females, high estrogen really is going to result in something like breast cancer or ovarian cancer or heavy menses and tender breasts. In guys, it manifests in something a little bit different. You might have an enlarged prostate. So if you or the man in your life gets up to pee in the middle of the night, it could be because they have some prostate swelling, because they have excess estrogen in their body, because their liver's plugged up. Now we're going to talk about a few things here as far as weight loss and a few other areas when it comes to liver. But low T is really high estrogen. So some of the ways that you can help improve your testosterone is getting rid of estrogen, which is what Dr. Bob was talking about with getting rid of the soy and avoiding some of the sprays that they're going to have on a golf course. So simply put, as a male, you not only want to make sure that you're exercising on a regular basis, but you want to be doing things that is going to help promote liver function. And I think that that's a really good point to make here at this point as well when talking about men's health. That there's a lot of males that I'll interact with on a regular basis, and their version of health is I went and I pumped some iron at the gym. Now, I always see this. Just because you're pumping iron at the gym does not mean that that's what health is. Because a lot of these guys, and you might be one of them, feel like that is all your body really needs. Well, it's more than just working out in the gym. It's eating the right foods, getting the proper sleep, reducing stress, making sure that you're taking the right types of nutrients, getting regular chiropractic care. All of those are different areas that it comes to helping with male hormones. So, particularly estrogen can also, high estrogen can also affect your ability to get an erection as you get older. So some of the strategies that we're talking about here this evening are going to make sure that you can have a happy and healthier you.
So, it's kind of interesting. If you do start taking testosterone or testosterone patch, unfortunately, unless you're really wise, that testosterone can be converted to estrogen. And that's why we promote broccoli, because broccoli helps inhibit aromatase, which is an enzyme. And that's also why I personally take a product called Chrisin, because I work with taking various herbs. Because of my age, I don't want to lose muscle tone. And we talk about this in Dr. Bob's Men's Health, the Basics, which you must type in the word here. We'd love for you to ask us any kind of questions, but we're going to continue on with weight loss. If you just look in the internet and see what I used to look like several years ago, and I've lost a lot of weight, and I did that basically by assessing what I was eating. I was eating too many olives, I was eating too many Newman pretzels, I was eating too many almonds, I was using too much salad dressing, And probably my biggest downfall was the nuts, almonds, walnuts, cashews, sesame sticks in a bag. I was probably eating 800 calories a day just to nuts. I always exercised a lot, but I just made the decision just to cut out calories. I became calorie conscious. And I really focus my diet on eating vegetables and protein. I eat a bag of vegetables every day. I have a salad for lunch every day. I don't eat Hostess Twinkies or Pop-Tarts or donuts. You know, I'm not saying we don't ever eat bread, or I don't ever eat pizza, which I do very infrequently. But most of the time, we both, all of us, our entire family, watches what we do eating. And I think that that's really important. And I know Dr. A, being close to 30 years old now, your body starts to change. And I know that he consumes a lot of water. I know that Dr. Kaysen watches what she consumes. And I know Dominic also is quite aware of what we put in our bodies.
Yeah, when it comes to weight loss, there really is some steps that you really want to do on a daily basis so that you're becoming calorie conscious and making the appropriate and necessary changes. So there's a couple of simple strategies. There's only 3 fruits that you should be focusing on: apples, plums, and pears. If it's not an apple, plum, or pear, it's not on the list that you should be consuming on a regular basis. The other thing that you'd want to be doing is making sure that you're eating a plethora of vegetables. And no, white potatoes are not a vegetable, so you cannot consider French fries or mashed potatoes as some of your veggies. Also want to make sure that you're consuming protein. Yes, a lot of men out there love protein, but they might not be getting great sources of protein. So we highly encourage people to use things like grass-fed beef, lamb. Wild caught fish is always better than farm raised fish. You don't want to be consuming farm raised fish. You can also do things like chicken and turkey, but you want to make sure that you're getting it from a good source. The things that you would want to make sure that you're minimizing and eliminating are dairy, grain, and other things that are going to cause inflammation in your body. So by doing that, you're setting yourself up to have weight loss success. So there's a lot of guys, when I'm doing diet sheets with them in the office and practice members and having a discussion, it comes down to the word discipline. Now, what does discipline mean? Discipline means going grocery shopping, having what you need, creating vegetable bags and salads ahead of time so that you don't have to stop at a fast food restaurant. I think probably one of the biggest challenges that males face when it comes to their health is their ego. They don't see somebody else doing it, so why should they take the steps to do it? Now, we're not here to be your mom. What we're here to do is to help enlighten you to make better decisions. It's okay to go against the grain. Just because somebody else isn't doing what you're doing to have preventative measures for your health, it means that you really should be doing it if they're not doing it, because nobody else is going to hold your hand. Because there will be a day many years from now and you'll look back and you'll say, I'm really glad that I started to do some of those things all the way back then. And it comes down to it with weight loss is that prevention. So one of the strategies that I suggest to people is to find an hour or 2 out on a weekend or a day of rest and figure out what your week ahead of time looks like and prepare food so that through your day-to-day life, whether it's with your family, whether it's with your wife, whether it's with your kids, whether it's on the job, that you have food that you can have that's not going to be fast food. Fast food a lot of times has harmful additives and preservatives in it that's going to really cause some challenges. So I'm always working with guys to figure out what they can do to prepare food ahead of time. And yes, I said, guys, I want you to prepare the food ahead of time or work with your wife in order to prepare the food ahead of time so that, one, you can have a better appreciation for what she does for you, but you're also able to help yourself improve your health and well-being. So that is all really important strategies when it comes to weight loss.
It's very interesting because it's an ongoing process. So today, or this month, our outreach for the month is Second Chance Ministries. They're located in Pennsylvania, and their mission is to foster the growth of spiritual and character development and to instill a deep understanding of the life-changing principles that address the underlying causes of each male's incarceration. And then there's, for more information for Second Chance Ministries, you can visit scmpa.com. and we'll have Dr. Anthony here in a moment or two give you some facts about incarceration. If you want to type in a question, be more than happy to answer them for you. I know that we're going to have a couple gifts here at the end. You must type in the word "here" to be able to receive one of these two gifts. And we're going to have a special gift that we're going to give to a male tonight. Is we're going to give a complimentary 15-minute consultation with myself personally that we can talk about some of your health challenges. I want to talk to you about cancer. And I think that cancer for a male really impacts their lungs and their colon. They say statistically that, there's a huge number of men that are going to get prostate cancer. And I can tell you this, if you're consuming a lot of canned food, a lot of estrogen, if you don't have enough iodine, you will have prostate issues. But not everybody's going to have prostate challenges. We have a 93-year-old practice member right now, he doesn't have any prostate challenges. My father-in-law, 87 years old, never had any prostate challenges because he was aware of what he was putting in and on his body. Now, what's very important is you should all be pooping every day. That's right. All of you watching me should have pooped twice today, wherever you're at in the world. If you're not pooping every day, you're not drinking enough water and you're not eating enough vegetables. So Dr. Anthony was talking about vegetables. You should be eating, most of your food should be vegetables and protein, primarily non-starchy green vegetables. If you want to prevent cancer, gentlemen, you want your liver functioning optimally because your liver is the filter for every aspect of your body. That's why we talk about Dr. Bob's ABCs. A half a red apple every day, a third cup of beet fiber, and a medium carrot. If you're eating those foods and you're having regular bowel movements, now gentlemen, if you have little red bumps in your body called cherry hemangiomas, that's a body signal to us in our practice that you have too much estrogen. You do not want that. If you're smoking cigarettes right now, stop it. Yes, stop it. Let's just get over with it and stop smoking cigarettes. Dr. Anthony, you want to talk about some of the facts about incarceration?
Now, this goes along with the ministry that we're working on this month, the scmpa.com. Some of the facts that go along with that is 85% of the inmates are there for drug-related crimes. 97% of all crimes committed are drug or alcohol related. However, 55% of inmates' families desert them while they're incarcerated. Inmates are filled with rejection and rebellion and carry mental and emotional scars in their lives. Many inmates have been abused as children, and many have graduated from juvenile institutions. The average inmate is 20 years old. So I know that it's a wonderful ministry that we're able to support this month. So another area that I want to talk about when it comes to men and men's health is heart health. Heart health is super, super important. One, because one of the leading causes of death in the United States of America is heart disease. Now, contrary to popular opinion from 30 or 40 years ago, people were thinking that butter and fats were contributing to heart disease. Now, as more and more research comes out, you'll find that it's really the low-fat diet that's either high in partially hydrogenated oils and sugar. So what are some heart-healthy tips that you can really be doing is going to be making sure that you're consuming the right types of oils for your body. So some of the things that I know that Dr. Bob recommends and myself, so you could be doing a tablespoon of flax in or fish oil per 100 pounds to help reduce inflammation in your body. A couple of other heart healthy strategies is going to be to use something like organic butter instead of margarine because it's not going to have trans fat. Yes, you want to be doing some sort of regular exercise as well for your heart. I always recommend at least 20 minutes of some sort of physical activity every day, something that you enjoy to do, because one of the things I always see with guys, they're out there with their headphones on and they're going for a jog, and boy, they sure look miserable. It looks so much better if you're doing it on a bike. So you got to do something that you enjoy so that you can have a healthier heart. I know that Dr. Bob mentioned it briefly. One of the areas that men that we could strive to be better at is drinking enough water. I had somebody mention to me today that they knew that they hadn't been drinking enough water because of this time of the year. Regardless of what time of the year it is, it's so important that we're consuming at least half our body weight in ounces of water, because I know that it's going to help improve the quality of your life, but also improve heart function. So don't need to be a super exercise person, because a lot of times that can even cause its own challenges. So a simple heart healthy strategy is 20 minutes of regular exercise and do some sort of good oil like flax or fish every single day.
We had a question that was sent to us about methods of detoxification, and I can tell you, probably the most important thing to do is be aware of what you're putting in and on your body. You know, we talked about estrogen earlier. Be aware of the chemicals that you're putting on your body. And if you're eating primarily organic vegetables and organic meat and drinking your water, you do not need to detoxify. I don't ever go on a detoxification program because I'm already on the detoxification program because I'm being aware of what I'm putting in and on my body. You know, I don't try to put any kind of colors in the food. So I want you to be aware, start reading ingredients, and that'll make a huge difference. I know that there's a couple areas that I want to just talk about that it's almost simultaneous. It's sleeping. You really want to be in bed by 10 o'clock because those hours before midnight are very important for a gland in your body called your adrenal gland. And I know that so many people will go to bed, they'll be laying in their bed and their head's going 100 miles an hour, but their body's exhausted. So I'm going to encourage you to maybe be aware of how much wheat you're consuming, because wheat and soy deplete the body of zinc. When you have low zinc, you're going to have high copper. When you have high copper, your brain does not get a chance to rest. So I just want you to be aware of that. And you could look at your fingernails right now, and if you see white spots in your nails, that's a body signal to us that you may in fact have low zinc. Once again, wheat and soy deplete the body of zinc. If you go to bed at 10 o'clock and you wake up at 11, it could be a body signal that you need B vitamins. If you go to bed at 10 and you wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, it could be that you're doing too much juicing and your blood sugar is dropping around 3 o'clock in the morning. If you go to bed at 10, you wake up at 1 o'clock in the morning and you like to eat sushi or wild game, it's very possible that you could have parasites. So I know restful, peaceful sleep is important. When you wake up in the morning, you should wake up hungry. If you don't wake up hungry, your body's not making enough growth hormone. I know that Dr. Anthony and Dr. Kaysen have special pillows that they use, and you might want to briefly talk about the kind of pillows for sleep. I think that would be really important.
Okay, there's two pillows that we recommend. One is from Tempur-Pedic. It's their cervical curve pillow. The other one's from a company called Therapeutica. Therapeutica is an excellent pillow because it allows you to, one, you can lay on your side and not have your head kinked in one position, because it keeps this position so that your head is straight. Also, there's an area that has a cervical curve portion, so that it helps support your neck. One of the things that's important for is for optimum nervous system function, which is something that we work with as chiropractors. So I'm always recommending that someone utilize those pillows. Another helpful strategy is to make sure that the room is completely dark, because even if it's a little bit of light, that'll also impact your sleep.
So pillows are important. Sleep is important. If you're not getting restful, peaceful sleep, you're going to impair your immune system. Now, we all have stress, and we have practice members that come in all the time that have stressful situations going on. But what we have learned, stress creates an acid pH in your body. Acid pH cannibalizes minerals. If you have leg cramps at night, cramping in your legs, cold sores that are just come on very easily, you may consider Celtic sea salt from Selena Naturally. You may consider some calcium, but best way to handle stress is you don't want to be eating sugar for sure, because that's going to cannibalize even more minerals. You need minerals because minerals are going to help balance out that pH that's being altered. You want to be exercising regularly, but we all have a lot of plates that are spinning up in the air, and I know that some of you do also. We're able to help manage our day-to-day activity because we are aware of what we're eating, we get plenty of sleep, and we exercise on a regular basis. Would you like to add anything to that, Dr. Anthony?
Yeah, I think one of the things that's important, I know we touched on a little bit at the beginning, is how important it is to be proactive about your health as a male, I think males way more than females, what ends up happening is the oh crap moment when you realize that you should have been doing something for a period of time and something isn't going right. So it's much better to work on some of these tips and strategies that we're discussing now than have the moment where something's happening and it can't be reversed. So thought for yourself is today's the youngest day that you're ever going to be. So what are appropriate and necessary changes that you need to make today so that you can have a fruitful tomorrow? So if there's any wives or girlfriends that are listening right now, make sure to nudge the man that's in your life, because you want them to be around for a long time to participate in life with you. So it's important that they make a couple of these changes that we're suggesting now.
I think it's really important. There's a couple things that are going on right now that I want to touch base with you. Okay, first, John S., you are the one that has won the 15-minute complimentary consultation with myself personally. I would like you to email customercare@druglessdoctor.com and give them your full name and number. It's John S. Now, everybody that's been on the line tonight, you must put in the word here, and then I'd like you to email customercare@druglessdoctor.com, and you can get either a PDF of Dr. Bob's Men's Health, The Basics, or we have an audio version of the same book. So you must send an email to customercare@druglessdoctor.com. These would also make great gifts for the men in your life, the hard copy, which we can send from our office. And we also have a small book, which is a 1 minute a day book that'll make a huge difference also. Now, the outreach this month is Second Chance Ministries. They're located in central Pennsylvania. We have a couple minutes left, and I just want to briefly touch on our last subject, which is the thyroid gland. The thyroid gland itself is a very important gland. It has everything to do with cold hands, cold feet, and your metabolism. The reason I'm bringing that up is because many men have prostate issues, which oftentimes can be due to lack of iodine. And we know that your thyroid gland needs iodine. I take 12 milligrams of iodine every day. Gentlemen, I would encourage you maybe to consider having a TSH, that's a Tom, Sam, Harry, TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone, a T3 and a T4 blood serum test done, and have that evaluated, because we have found statistically individuals who have subpar thyroid glands are not having regular bowel movements, and it's a greater chance to have cancer issues. We did have a question about what about sugar and the prostate gland. You know, we know that sugar is devastating. Dr. Anthony, Dr. Kaysen, we are constantly talking to our practice members. We're just strongly encouraging them and motivating them to get off of sugar. Sugar takes minerals out of your body. Sugar causes an acid pH in your body, and we don't want that. Dr. Anthony, we have a short time left. What would you like to add?
You know, I would just say, just make one small change today, and next week make another small change. And those small changes over time result in a big change. It's better to make small changes than to do nothing.
Good point. And I think so many times people want everybody else to do something for them. So let's just kind of wind this wagon train up a little bit. Drink water on a regular basis. I have something called a clean canteen. You want to drink at least a quart of water every day, minimum. Get a measured amount. Start exercising a minimum of a half an hour every day. Create a SWAT bag. That stands for start with a protein. 1 medium carrot, half a red apple, 2 radishes, a wedge of red, yellow, orange bell pepper, and that alone with some small tomatoes and cucumbers. You just want vegetables every day. Get to bed by 10 o'clock. Back off the sugar. If you so desire, eliminate alcohol. If you continue to drink alcohol, drink organic wine. I think it's just really important to become proactive, work with your family, love everybody. Life goes by too fast. Make sure that you send a note off to customercare@druglessdoctor.com so you can determine if we're going to get a free PDF to you or the audio book. We appreciate you. You can come back. This will be posted on the internet very soon. If you have any questions, you can always send a note off to Ask Dr. Bob. we just thank you for joining us tonight.
And the next date for our next Optimal You, I believe, is going to be a special night, December 17th. It's going to be on self-improvements. So we'd like you to join in. Again, it'll be December 17th, 9 to 9:30 on self-improvements. I hope you guys have a wonderful night. Make these changes, and you'll be glad you did.